The mystery and thrill of the mountains have lured people from all over the world and all walks of life since time unknown. And their number is growing because the premium mountaineering institutes of the world have mastered the ways of safely introducing people to the mountains, reducing the hazards in the glorious relationship between man and the mountains. Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, or NIM, at Uttarkashi, India, is also a premium mountaineering institute famous for training people in mountaineering and other adventure activities through its indigenously developed mountaineering techniques and survival methods. No wonder it receives applications from thousands of enthusiasts each year, eager to participate in the institute's world-class mountaineering courses. The first among the institute's mountaineering courses is Basic Mountaineering Course, or BMC. This course is the foundation mountaineering course and initiates men and women into mountaineering. This course focuses on theoretical and practical training of basic mountaineering techniques of rock, ice and snowcraft over a period of 28 days. The first day of BMC starts early at NIM with a wake-up call at 5 a.m. and trainees are required to assemble within an hour of the wake-up call at the training ground for a warm-up session, after which they are divided into groups, which are called ropes in mountaineering parlance. After the warm-up session, breakfast follows and a healthy diet ensures enough energy for the rest of the day activities. The trainees then gather at Jai Harsh Bahuguna Auditorium, where an opening address is delivered by the head of NIM family and the trainees are formally introduced to NIM staff. This activity ensures orientation of the trainees about the rules and discipline to be followed during their training, and they get acquainted with the campus and training areas. The success of the mountaineering expedition depends upon the mountaineer's knowledge of mountaineering equipment and his skill to use them. The trainees are then introduced to their equipment and taught about their use. The trainees carry their own equipment throughout the course. After this, the trainees are tested for endurance through a hill walk activity during which the trainees carry their loaded rucksacks and walk alongside each other. This is their first introduction to the challenges ahead. Before moving to the mountains, the trainees are introduced to ropes, which are the essential safety lines for all mountaineers. They are introduced to different types of ropes, knots and their applications. To impart training on various topics, regular lectures and demos are conducted by instructors either in person or through audio-visual content. Through the next 4 to 5 days, the trainees are groomed in the art of climbing rocks and boulders, known as rockcraft. For this, the trainees trekked to Tekla rock climbing area nestled amidst lush green pine forest, where they learned the basic principles of rock climbing, holds, bouldering, anchoring and belaying, long pitch climbing, rappelling and fixed rope techniques. Besides this, the trainees are also introduced to sport climbing at NIM campus, which is an upcoming and fast-growing competitive sport popular among young climbers worldwide. This sport will become part of the Olympics 2020. After the training in rockcraft, the trainees become ready for their next phase of training. But before moving to mountains and face all the difficulties as mountaineers, they are taught various aspects of mountaineering like mountain weather, map reading, avalanche, glaciers, mountain hazards, basics of first aid, camp hygiene and sanitation. While learning these subjects, the trainees also listen to lectures on mountain manners and customs. The day arrives when the trainees are ready to move to the mountains. But before starting their journey, the trainees seek blessings of the Almighty for their safety in the mountains. They are then taken to Bhuki by bus. From here, they trek for 2 to 3 days through dense forests of rhododendron, pine, oaks, spurs, fir and Bhojpatra trees to reach the glaciers. The first halt is made at Tel Camp at an altitude of 8,200 feet above mean sea level. On the second day, they trek to Gujjar Hut Camp at an altitude of 11,200 feet. At Gujjar Hut, one is taken aback by the mesmerizing beauty of Dingad Valley, which washes off all the fatigue. Here the trainees are taken for acclimatization walks so that they get acquainted with the environment before moving to the base camp at an altitude of 12,300 feet on day 3. After reaching the base camp the next day, the trainees trek back and forth from base camp to Dokriani Bamak Glacier for the next 5 to 6 days for learning basic techniques of icecraft, ascending and descending on ice slopes with ice axe and crampons, anchoring, belaying and rappelling, use of pitons, moving on fixed ropes, jummering, crevasse, crossing and rescue. The trainees are also given lecture and demonstration on snowcraft, through which they can learn ascending and descending on snow, anchoring and belaying, self-arrest, team arrest and glissading on snow. On the last couple of days of training, they are taken for height gain in order to test their own fitness. Thus, after spending 16 to 17 days in the mountains, the trainees return to NIM, following the same route as when moving up. First Gujjar Hut, then Tel, then Bhuki, and then by bus to NIM. In their last few days at NIM, the trainees rehearse graduation ceremony and return the equipment allotted to them. They present themselves before the principal for an interview and debriefing also. On the day of the graduation ceremony, trainees are issued NIM jersey for the ceremony. It is at this point that the trainees take pride in being seen as trained and experienced mountaineers, rubbing shoulders with many of the more experienced ones.